Hey there. I wanted to show you how to make uh, sprite, what is it called? A tile sheet animation in VFX. So what this is it's like a number of frames kind of saved into an image, and then you just play through them. You cycle through all these frames. So it ends up being kind of like a little short animation clip kind of. So one of the first things you need to do is you need to find a tile sheet. And what I want to make is like an explosion. And this is a cool little site here, Effect Texture Maker. This is online. And so this is where I'm going to find my tile sheet. So I'm going to just take the type here, and you can see you've got smoke. You can turn this on to animate, and let's go to, there should be an explosion here. There's an explosion. You can hit play here, animate, little tab here. You can see what that looks like. Excuse me. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to sprite sheet here. Dimensions are we can set this up and down. I'm going to go with 8, which is a pretty common number. So what this means is it'll give us 8 by 8 frames, and then I need to calculate kind of the time here between each frame. So I'm going to have 64 frames, and if I gave each one 0.1 second, um, let's see, that would give me 6.4 seconds, uh, but I don't want to give them that much time. So I'll put that down a bit, 0.05, and if you go, that should give me 3.2 seconds, right? I was going to do 64 times 0.05. I think I can do that in my head. Yeah, 3.2. So that'll give us 3.2 seconds. Time length. And let's go ahead and let's just see what that looks like. So I'm going to hit Save Sprite Sheet. That's going to show me that I've actually gone through it, and I've gone through it and then some. So it looks like I've come through it and then I've started the cycle again, which I'm not really interested in doing. So what I'll need to do here is actually change these times here. So uh, let's try by maybe increasing this time slightly. Or sorry, decreasing it slightly. So let's go 0.04, and let's try, there goes my math out the window there. That probably looks a little bit better. I'm not sure why the first frame is kind of dark here, but I think this will be fine. We don't really need it to loop. We're just going to have this explosion go off. Now this is quite tiny here, so what I need to do is just set this size from 512. I'm going to set it to 2048, and then I'm going to save this one as, and it'll print this out for me. So you can see that these are a little bit larger. So this is a sequence, and if I play this inside of a texture animated material, this should give me what I'm looking for. Now the one thing with this is I'm just going to save this image. Let's save it to, I was trying these earlier, so I'll call this one Explosion 2. And then I'll look in Unity here. I'm gonna have, just ignore this here. Let's have a look at Explosion 2 here. And I'm gonna go Show and Explorer. And the one thing I was missing was an alpha channel here. So I'm gonna go to Open with GIMP. And we'll go Layer, mask, add layer mask. Hang on, no, layer, transparency, add alpha channel. Sure. GIMP doesn't like this little program I have. Let me turn that off. And layer, transparency, add alpha channel. Why not? Image, mode, RGB, precision 8-bit, transparency, add alpha channel. Decompose. RGB. Okay. So there's my red, green, and blue. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, let's see here. I think I could actually just use this red channel possibly as my alpha. I'll probably use a color ramp inside of Unity anyways. So maybe this is not such an issue. Maybe I don't need the alpha map in here. Looks like, okay. Let's just try. Bring this up so that we get a nice sharp alpha. Let's try that. I'll make one. Duplicate layer. I'll show you how to do it anyways. And then this one, we don't have to call it alpha. Doesn't really matter. And then I'll just I'll crank up the levels here. Sorry, I'll crank up the curve here. Okay, we'll call that our alpha. Colors, components, compose. Then we'll go RGBA. And OK. And there's an alpha in there now. And then you can see it kind of fades out. File, export as. I think we can just save over top of the one that's already there. File. Oh no, export as. Okay, recently used. Let's find that. Assets. And we'll go to Explosion 2. Place that one. Okay. So we'll have a look here now in Unity here. What I've done is I'll just delete this here. For starters, I was just using the built-in. So let me delete this as well. So to start, I was just using if I go to create a material, I'll probably write a custom shader here, but just to start, I'll just use a default one, and I'll call this explosion material, and I went to a built-in particles standard unlit, and then I brought my texture in, and what I wanted to do is create a particle system, and I'm going to reset it, and I'm going to set the start speed to 0, and the emission we'll just set it to 1 maybe. Shape, I'll bring that down. Radius down. I'm just bringing those to 0. Let's let's leave a little bit of start speed maybe. Just something like that for now. Just so we can kind of see it and see it like kind of one at a time here. Start size, we'll just leave it at 1. F to focus, and let's have a look at our, we want to put in a, where is it here? Texture sheet animation. So this is what we want, and we're going to tile it 8 by 8. So we'll put those in, and you can see that our material is currently not working with this, so we'll have to put in our material, and then you can see that that's animating, it's playing, and I'm just wondering, over the lifetime, does it go through? Yeah, it goes through the whole cycle over the lifetime. So you can see there that it just plays through the whole animation cycle. And what's cool about this technique is this is the simplest that this technique comes. And actually, I thought I added an alpha in here. Alpha is transparency. I was pretty sure that I added. Maybe I have to set this to transparent. Okay. And let's go to shaded. And then we can bump up the number of particles. It's moving quite slowly. So if we scaled this down, so the start lifetime is 5 right now. So you can see if I speed it up there, I'm going to turn off my gizmos for a second just so we can kind of see this. And then we're going to go start. Oh yeah, let's crank up the emission here. That looks kind of bad. And let's go to, I wonder if this will color over a lifetime. I wonder if this will actually work with the default shader. Still kind of popping in, and I think this is why we want to make our own shader. You can see here that we're kind of, let's have a look here. There is kind of a pop when it comes in. Flipbook frame blending. That doesn't really do much for us. Well, that's the material I'm looking at. Particle system. Let's see here. Oh, I do have this on. Flipbook frame blending. Let's have a look at our material here. We'll put that turn on there as well. I think I'll leave that off for now. Okay. Oh, that was a material. Rendering. Let's do the render alignment from, yeah, we'll keep it on view. Sort mode, we'll go by youngest in front. That's going to keep it from trying to self-sort. What if we do oldest in front? I think I liked youngest in front better. This looks almost like a flame or something, and we can vary the, let's try vary the size. And so again, this would probably wouldn't be looping. Let's just hit play. And we might do it for like 0.2 seconds or something. 0.2, 0.5 seconds. It does feel kind of like it feels kind of lagging or something. Not sure why that is. It shouldn't do that in game. I think it could be that I have some things open and it's just kind of being slow. I could also try turning down the resolution of this thing. So let's try overriding this. We'll set that to 512. That's quite small. You'll see a big difference now on this. A lot more low res. It's still having issues, so I'm not sure what that is. So we've got the texture sheet animation. Let's look at making a custom shader for this. So let's go to create and we'll go to a shader, unlit shader, and we'll call this one flip. Well, it's not really, it doesn't really need to be a flipbook one. I don't know what we'll call this one. We'll just call it explosion shader. Again, it's not really, it wouldn't have to be an explosion. We'll just let's play around with this a bit. So we're going to create this. We're going to get rid of fog throughout here. And that one. And that one. We're going to make this transparent. And Q is equal to transparent. The blend mode, let's try doing a different blend mode this time. Let's do blend 1, 1 minus source alpha. This is called blend add. Okay. And we'll turn Z right off. Calling's not going to matter, so we'll leave that alone. And we'll bring in our color. This is our vertex color. This is something that most of these particle systems use. So it's worth adding in here. So we've got our vertex color in here, and then we've got our texture. We're going to sample our texture in our fragment program here, and sometimes I pull out this main text st. I think this needs to stay in for our tiling to work, so leave that alone. So we've sampled our texture here, and then we're going to go. We're going to take this and then multiply it. Multiply by. What do we want to multiply by here? Let's go call dot RGB times equals call dot alpha. This is something that you need to do for this particular blend mode. Blend add, we need to multiply our alpha against our RGB. Let's save this. You can read up more about that if you're interested, this blend add shader. Let's go on here. So if we take this now and we'll put it back on looping, we'll set it to 1 second, hit restart. And let's go to here and go from particle standard unlit to unlit, and what do we call this one? Explosion shader. So this is what it looks like right now. And that little green dot there, I think that's something that we turned on in our render settings here. Pivot. Visualize pivot. That's for our particle. Okay. So that's kind of interesting. I feel like I'm in some kind of a weird. Let's see here, focus. Is it just me or those don't feel like they're heading straight up? It almost feels like they're heading backwards. This thing's on like a weird roll or something as well, it feels like. Or is it my camera is just odd? Let's maybe put a ground plane in. Let's just put a plane and reset it. And let's scale it up. Let's make this 100 by, and maybe it has to be -90 here. Plane. Where's this thing? Oh, okay, my camera is just kind of funky here. Let's turn on our grid here. Okay, that was the issue. I had the grid turned off. So let's go 0. There we go. Alright, so that's up. Alright, so our particle system's on its side. Let's turn this up. Okay. And there is something called soft particles that we could look at adding on this. I'm not going to do it right now. Let's create another material here, just for our ground. Create material, call it ground. I just add always the default checker on here. Bring this down a bit, base color, and I turn the smoothness down, and then the tiling up. And then I'll chuck that on the ground. Tiling. Why is it not tiling in both directions here? Tiling. Tiling. Oh, that's odd. Oh, I've only scaled it in one direction. Okay. There we go. That kind of makes more sense. So yeah, the scale of this is, that's a meter there. That means that my tiles are a little bit large. So let's go to ground here and set that to 100 by 100. Nope, went the wrong way with that. There we go. It's about a meter, I guess. I want 500. Let's see here, 500. That should give me a meter. Yeah, it looks about a meter. All right. So, oh yeah, we're gonna use our vertex color here. So what we can do here, let's have a look at this shader now. So instead of just making this a color, what we're going to do is we're going to take our one of these channels here. So we'll just say take the, I think the green channel looked kind of interesting. So we're just going to go call.rgb is equal to call.g times i.color.rgb times call.alpha. Again, we have to make sure we multiply the alpha in, and then on the alpha, actually what I want to do with the alpha is I want to calculate the alpha first. So I'll maybe do that up above this. I'll go call.alpha times equals and then I'm going to take the input vertex color dot alpha. So this will allow us to fade kind of fade in. Let's have a look now. That's not quite what we wanted. Line 51, it says there's something wrong with this fix for call. Sample the texture. Oh, call dot a times equals color. Oh, you know what? I didn't pass the color information through the vertex program, so it's having a bit of a problem with that. So o.color is equal to v.color. I have to remember to pass that through. So now, invalid subscript A. 52. There's nothing really on 52. So we've got color here, color here. Which line is it unhappy with? RGB at line 53. This is probably something really obvious here. Which shader are we looking at here? Explosion shader, line 53. Call.rgb. Let's see here. Is equal to, oh, hang on. This is maybe my issue. I.color.rgb times color. Not sure what the issue is here. Invalid subscript A. Fixed for call.a. RGBA. It should have 4 values. Main text. Happy with that. This is the line that's causing the problem. Okay, I.color. Why am I getting these updates? It's so annoying. Okay. Okay. Call.rgb. Call.rgb. Why is it unhappy with RGB? Subscript RGB. Let's just go return. Let's just try this. Return I.color. I.color. Yeah, there we go. Let's just return the vertex color. That should work. And it still doesn't like that line, so I'll just comment that out. Yeah, so it's giving me it's still not, Hmm. Not sure why it's unhappy with this. So, because I can just say like color.rgb is equal to uh, fix 3, 1, comma, 0, comma 1. That should just give me a color. Oh, return call. Oh, well, you have to multiply this times color.alpha. So that is fine. I'm trying to figure out why it was unhappy with I dot color. Sorry, I dot color dot RGB. Why? I'm bringing in a oh, you guys should have told me. Then he sent me a float 4 color. I'm sorry, that took an awful long time to figure out. Okay, all right. That's being a bit silly, isn't it? All right. Okay, so now we could, if we wanted to set the color in here, and we could change this color. What I think we want to do though is I think we want to create a gradient inside of GIMP here, and then use that instead. So if I go back to GIMP here, I'll try to make the same kind of color gradient as what we have here, and just see if I can get a similar look. So if I go to File and what I could do as well is I'm just thinking if I didn't use a gradient, because I can create a gradient in here, or I can also just create a couple of colors in here. So for here, if I went from, I could go color.rgb is equal to, and then I could go lerp i.color.rgb, and let's say color, let's put on the first side, we'll put black. So we'll just go, we'll go fixed 3, 0, 0, 0, which is giving us black, and then our vertex color, and then we're going to lerp using one of our channels. So we'll go like color dot green as a channel, because that kind of had interesting information on it. So that's going to give us a little bit more shape to this thing. Now that's a little bit dark, and it still feels like it's popping, doesn't it? So let's, we're not actually multiplying in our alpha, so that should work now. Yeah, there we go. So now it's kind of blending in using our color over lifetime, and what we could do is we could expose these colors to just thinking of a gradient would be better. Yeah, this looks pretty average at the moment. Let's see here. Do we want a gradient? Well, let's just show how we do it anyways. Let's bring a color gradient in. So here I'm just going to go File, New, and I'm going to make this, we have 256 by 256. Okay. And then I'm going to grab a gradient here. Where are we at? Gradient. And we're going to pick the gradient as, let's try here's one that looks kind of like fire. Let's just try dragging that across. Yeah, sure. So let's save that file, export as, and we'll call this just gradient. Gradient. And now we'll make space for this. So I'm just going to go up here and I'm going to type this in. Equals white. So the white is just the default color. And we got to include this down here. Sampler 2D gradient. And then, so we've got access to that. What we also have to do is figure out, I'm going to make our UV a float 4. And then I'm going to say o.uv.xy, which is the one that's going to be used for our tiling, is going to be that. And then I'm going to go o.uv dot xyzw is equal to v.uv, yeah, like that. And that should give us an untransformed one. So when we go to sample this gradient, so we're going to go, so I'm going to call this one, instead of color, I'm going to call this one what am I going to call this one? I'm going to call this the tile, and then I'm going to go fixed for color, call is equal to text 2D, and then I'm going to go gradient, and I'm going to go I'm going to do half to, and then I'm going to go tile dot, and then I'm going to use the green channel, red or green, and I'm going to use, so this is going to sample for my gradient using the value of the, let's just see what this looks like, the value of the tile. And then let's do 0.5 here. Let's save that. And I'm not going to, I'm just going to go color. I'm going to hide this line for a second. This was our bringing in our vertex color. I'm just going to hide that for a minute. And I'm going to go call times equals call dot alpha. So this is just me call dot RGB. GB times equals call dot alpha. Let's have a look now. Oh, we need to actually add that into our, okay. Let's see here. Oh, and there's one other thing we need to do is, this is not call.alpha, this is call.alpha is equal to tile.alpha. times, yeah, there we go. So that will keep our alpha data in, and then we need to bring our gradient into our explosion material now. So let's bring our gradient up here. And you can see what that looks like. It's kind of, it's mapping this gradient onto our, so I think we need a better gradient. I think that's probably the issue. And so let's go back to, also that feels kind of, is it because I made that really low res? I think that's what I did. Let's have a look at this one again and make it, well, we could try making it a higher bit depth here. Does that do anything? Oh gosh, we need the alpha channel here. RGBA 32. That's kind of softer. That might be fine. Maybe we should make it 1024. Again, this is going to make the texture a little bit larger, but it's going to look nicer. And let's have a look at our gradient again. So I think what we want is we want to go from like white to dark. I think light to dark. I think that's what we want to do. So let's have a look here, and we'll go colors invert. That'll go light to dark for us. File, export to gradient PNG. Let's try that. So now that's going light to dark. And I wonder if we have post. Do we have post on here? I think we've got post processing. So if I wanted to bump this up a bit, I think I could go color. I could multiply this up a bit. And it's going to start glowing for us. A little bit too much. Call. It's too. Is that going to be too crazy? Yeah, maybe a bit. Yeah, we'll leave that off for now. We can come back and address that later. What you can do here is you can put this in a power function. Let's see here, power. And then that's going to make that, yeah, it's going to bring that down. And then we can multiply it up. See what that looks like. Yeah. That feels pretty energetic now. I thought we turned the sorting to on here from youngest in front. There's oldest in front. By distance. Okay. So one thing we can also do with this is right now, if you look at this, we're sampling at 0.5, which is right through the center. When we're doing the remap. So what we can do is we can kind of change this over time. So it's going from the top to the bottom. So what we'll do is we'll send in our, let's send in our custom vertex stream. So let's add one here. We're going to add our lifetime, age %. Now that's gone into a channel that we've already used. If you remember, we used we kind of packed that into here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to make another one. Float to UV2 and text chord 1. I'm going to have to pack that in. So here or this will be OV UV2 is equal to v dot UV, and then I'm going to have to bring this this one here, I dot, okay, tile is I dot UV. Oh, hang on a second. I actually I don't need this at all. I thought I needed it for my gradient, but I'm not using it at all. That's kind of silly of me. So all we got to do then is we got to go O dot UV. We don't even have to, I don't think we even have to pass this through. I think this is just going to give us our age percent. If I'm not mistaken, that's, oh, maybe we do have to put it through. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be float 3 UV up here. Okay, so, oh, I got rid of, did I get rid of something that I needed? What was here? O dot UV. Oh, I got rid of the wrong line here. Okay. O dot, so this needs to be float 3 because we're bringing in 3 UV data. Remember that third one's going to be our age percent now, and then we've got a float 3 here. So we'll just go to, okay, here we go. O dot UV dot Z is equal to V dot UV dot Z. There we go. Great. Okay, so that's set that up, and now here we'll just put in our age percent. So here we'll just go I dot UV dot Z. So that's going to be that age percent now. So what's going to happen is that as this samples, it's going to sample down this gradient. So let's save that. And let's spread these out a bit so we can kind of see them better. Let's make them, how do we want to spread them out? Give them a bit more speed maybe. Is that getting our age percent? We're sending it, aren't we? We are sending it age percent text chord Z. So it would be over time traveling down this thing. Maybe just to see it better, what we'll do is let's add another layer here. And then I'm going to add another gradient. And this one I'm going to make this one linear, I think. Radial, linear, and let's just grab this one and drag it out like this. And let's put this to overlay. What do we want here? Soft light. Just trying to think of something that would, because this will be starting up here and then traveling down. I would expect it to be brighter right now. What can I do to make this really obvious? Oh, I know. I'll just go layer, mask, add layer, mask, add. So now it's got nothing, and then I'll just select. Let's just select an area here. Rectangular select. Let's select that bit. And fill with background. There we go. And we'll set this to just normal. Okay. Now let's see if this actually, it should mess things up. Okay. Oh, I see. I see what's happening. It's actually starting from the bottom and then traveling up, if that makes any sense. So I was saying it's going from the top down, but it's actually starting at the bottom and then it's traveling up, right? So I think what we want to do is get rid of this, and then what we want to do is select all tools. We'll just go layer, transform, flip vertically. There we go. So it'll start here and then move its way up. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. Yeah. So it's starting off super bright, and then it's like, maybe what we'll do is just go colors, curves, and just kind of bring that down a bit. And the cool thing with this gradient technique is I could add a band of something in here. Like for example, if I got to my gradient tool again here, let's see where we're at. Gradient. Let's go to a linear radial, and let's change this to like a neon green. Here we go. And I'm just going to put that little ring in there. Sure. Now you'll see that it'll actually get mapped through. You'll see that in here. It should kind of come through in our let's just pause this for a second, or let's reduce the number here so we can actually see these guys a little bit better. Emission, let's go back to like 1, and so you can see that little green line in there. If I pause it, you'll see that. I think it should come in, it should fade in a little bit faster here. So let's go into our color over lifetime. Again, we're not using the color data anymore. We're just using this this alpha fade. So alpha. So now it's kind of lasting longer. So now it kind of turns into a black thing as it fades out. You can see the dissolve we're getting from the which is kind of cool. That's kind of a cool effect. That dissolve we're getting from our gradient. It's giving us that. Yeah. And that's using our green channel. So if we wanted to, we could play around with this and use, for example, that's our green. Let's try our red channel. That's going to give us, I think it was slightly darker, so it's going to be a little bit different look. Oh, red. No, it's actually quite a bit brighter, isn't it? I was wrong about that. Maybe our blue was quite dark. Yeah, it was the blue one that was quite dark. Yeah. I kind of, to be honest, I think that looks kind of cool. Now what's happening is it looks like it's actually going past, and it's actually, I think what I need to do is my gradient here, I need to make sure this is not repeating. I'm going to clamp this, hit apply, and that'll get rid of that little light that was coming on the side there. I did this years ago, and it's just kind of coming back to me now. So that's kind of cool. And let's bump up the emission now. That's kind of an interesting looking effect. And let's do we got our start sizes kind of random. Let's go back to our shape, and the radius we'll make that a little bit larger as well. 0.1, and let's set the so let's set the You know what I'm thinking is that I could do the same thing that I'm doing with uh, the alpha. I could tighten that line up. I kind of like that it's soft like that. Um, let's say emission. Where's our? Let's randomize this a bit. Let's go random between 3 and 5. It's kind of randomizing that a bit. And then I want the rotation. Yeah, that's what we need. Random rotation. Random between two constants, 0 and 360. Yeah, there we go. Now that's pretty cool. Um, and so that's going to be uh, like a blue kind of a fire. And then I don't know what that would be. Cool looking though. And then let's go to what do I want here? Oh yeah, I wanted to kind of create an explosion. So I'm going to call this one let's rename this one. Let's call it fire. I don't know if it's a fire or not. Maybe some kind of a plasma fire or something. And then duplicate this, and I'm going to hide this one. Oh, not the plane. Let's leave the plane on here. Ground, I'm going to darken that up a bit. And the particle system fire that I wanted. What I want to make is an explosion. So I'm going to rename this. Okay. And now for the explosion, I'll leave it on looping, but now for emission, instead of rate over time, I'm going to turn that off. And I'm just going to try creating, I don't know if this is going to look like, but I'll try creating a number of particles here. 20 maybe. And I want the start speed. Okay, random, yeah. And we're going to do random between, you know what, the lifetime is probably lasting because our duration is not long enough here. So let's do a duration of 3 seconds. And now the start speed, I think we can kind of go between 2 and 3. 2 and 4 maybe. This is kind of, you can see the energy is kind of getting lost over time, which is right. And then we maybe need to spread this out a bit. So again, our angle was 0 here. So let's go they kind of all have this a very similar kind of a how can I say it? They're all exactly the same. So instead of what I'm going to try doing here is just do 5 and then like 4 cycles, and that might offset them just slightly. I think that's better. And then I'm going to start speed. I'm going to crank that up. So 10 and 20. And then I'm going to limit the velocity over a lifetime. And I'm going to set this to dampen to 0.1. That's a little bit too fast, I guess, initially. I think it was all right before. 2 and 5. That might be all right. Let's hide this shape again. Yeah, that's interesting. And what was that lifetime here? Start lifetime, random between two constants. Let's go between, start lifetime between, let's go between 1 and 3 maybe? That's going to vary it up a bit. Yeah, I like that. And what happens if we add more particles to this? Again, that's 5 times 4. That's giving us 20. Let's try 10. That'll give us 40 particles. That's kind of cool. All right. Well, this explosion, it should have more kind of things happening here. I could put this one on here. Let's see, what does this one look like again? This was the one I was kind of playing with earlier. Let's turn it on here. Oh no, that's not the right one. I think I'm in the wrong project here. Yeah, no, this wasn't it at all. Okay, never mind. Anyways, generally for an explosion, you have a bunch of different things happening. And so this is, I don't know what this is. I guess this is creating flipbooks and then color remapping. I guess that's what it is. And I'll turn my fire back on and I'll put it off to the side here. Where's our fire here? Put it off to the side. And maybe I'll put another fire over here. And I'll go main camera, align with view. And let's hit, so let's pick our background color here. Something like that. Let's hit play. Let's maximize this. And yeah, there we go. All right. Well, I hope you learned something there. You know, hopefully that's an interesting way to do things. And again, this technique is, I can give credit to, there's a bunch of different places that I think I picked this up from. This technique of Flipbook is very old in video games, and there is a software that you can create kind of a in-between frame, which is like a vector, a direction vector, and you can get really nice smooth blends between these, so they don't look as like they're popping between frames. This one's not too bad, but if you want to slow these effects down, there is a technique that actually works really well for that. So I'll just leave it there for now, and then yeah, we'll call it good. All right, take care, guys.